Hello and welcome back to Trash It. Okay, we've got a full house today, but before I get into the introduction, of which you should already know some of these people on the panel, before I get into the introduction, the topic we're going to be discussing today is looking at a situation whereby a partner, a guy, tells his female partner that they're about to get married, that he does not want the female partner's best friend at their wedding. Okay, so before we dig into that topic, we've got Ajike in the house today. You guys already know Ajike, and we've got Funsho in the house today. You see, Funsho be giving me that all the time, and I love it. Okay, and then we've got Youre in the house today. Youre is on a roll. She's well, we've got Youre as well in the house as usual. Okay, so the topic we're going to be doing, as I said before, there's a scenario where this guy is about to get married to his fiance, but then he tells his fiance that he does not want the best friend at their wedding, right? And this best friend is the person who's probably going to be the chief bridesmaid for this lady. But all of a sudden, the husband to be is like, you know what? I don't want her there. She doesn't have my best interest at heart. I don't want to see her on our wedding day because, you know, I want my wedding day to be people who care about me, who care about us. So now, what would you do? Funsho, let me come to you because you're the only man on this panel. Sorry to put you on the spot. But would you ever do something like that to your partner, first of all? That's the first question. Would you do something like that to your partner if you didn't want her best friend to be at the wedding?
Firstly, when you were like introducing the topic, I was thinking, is it a male best friend or a female best friend?
Female best friend.
So saying female best friend makes it a bit easy for me to answer. So the issue is it has to do with what the best friend must have done to me or what I've seen. A very good example that comes to mind is there was this girl I was dating before. And I remember that her best friend was not as upright as my girlfriend. I felt it was a bad influence. I felt the girlfriend was always introducing sugar daddies and everything, was telling her that you are this Surulere guy. Let's go to Alon Shogo, God has done, you know, that kind of thing. And I always didn't like the girl, you know. Eventually, he broke our relationship, you know. So imagine, let's say in this case that he didn't break it and we're getting to the extent of getting married. Of course, I wouldn't want that kind of lady around my wife because I feel she'll be a bad influence. And looking at her even on the day that's supposed to be the happiest day of my life, I'll just be looking at things that she will still do to us even after we get married, you know, that kind of thing. But in the long run, it still depends on, we'll just sit down about it. If my wife still say, yeah, it's my friend, just accept her as she is, yeah, why not?
Yeah. Okay, Ajike, you were about to say something there. What's going through your mind?
Why can't he just be patient? After, I sort of understand where he's coming from, but they're about to get married. Let her do the best lady duties and all that. After that, you can prevail on your wife to cut her off and, you know, let her go a jolly good way. I quite understand. It depends. I don't know what this lady did to this man that he's saying that, okay, he doesn't want her in his wife's life. But for me, that's really, really hard. I don't know. I really don't understand. But it could happen. It's a possibility. I don't know what could happen that would do that. Maybe she's trying to sleep with him or she has slept with him or something. I don't know. Because I'm still friends with all of my friends before I got married. So it's very hard for me to just say, okay, just cut somebody off like that. But there has to be a very, very strong and valid reason for you to tell me not to invite my best friend to my wedding. I don't know.
So maybe just like Funsho, the guy is afraid that friend is going to, you know, lure the wife to be and make her do things that would be against, you know.
At times it might not be. Some men are just jealous, and some men are just like that. I don't know. You know, I watch a lot of Discovery ID. The way men, when they want, not just men, I think people that when they want to abuse you, first of all start by stripping away your support.
Yes.
They start by stripping away, and they have started. So because that's it for me. You started stripping away her support. You're not even married, and you're telling her best friend can come and see her. What of the day she's depressed and something? Before you know that, you say she cannot call. Before you know it, you say they cannot even WhatsApp you. She must block her number. She must not have any contact with this lady. And maybe it's this lady that is even helping the matter, that is just, allowing you to even enjoy the woman, the so-called wife that you have. Because like me, I can't imagine my life without my friends. That's the truth.
Me and Ajike are always at the opposite end of this.
You are, aren't you? Yeah.
Because I don't agree that guys, fine, I know there are guys that might be like what she just described. But there are also some like me that wouldn't say I'm stripping away my wife's support or something like that. But I have other reasons why I don't want this lady to be there.
Then please explain that reason to me. Don't just come to me.
But I just gave you a reason. I told you that she's a bad influence on you, and I think it's going to affect their marriage.
Okay, Youre, you want to come in there?
Yes, if I can come in there, actually. I don't know if you guys heard me quickly trying to grab a pen because I wanted to address what Funsho was saying. I wanted to write it down and make sure I did not forget.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're marrying someone, then I'm guessing you're both adults. As an adult, I should be able to choose my friends, regardless of who they are, regardless of what they do out there. If they are my friend, they are my friend. If you've gotten to the point where you've decided you're going to stick with me, you're going to marry me, or you're going to have a relationship with me, you should know my character as a person. The fact that I hang around someone who does some of the things you've mentioned that lady used to do, the friend of the girl you used to date, does not mean that I am going to do that thing. That person is my friend. They make their choices. It's just the same way we all make our choices. Now, if as a man, I'm in a relationship with you, you're telling me as an adult woman who is responsible for herself and only answerable to God, if you tell me you can't have friends, you can't have this friend because I think that they are going to be they're going to influence you negatively, then you're trying to control my life. Controlling behavior is abuse. Okay, because that's very controlling behavior. You can put it to the person and say, babe, do you not think this person could potentially, her choices, do you not think they could rub off on you negatively? But you don't go to the person and say, you are not allowed to be friends. Are you my dad? Does that make sense?
Actually, that's why I said
it's controlling behavior.
Actually happened to me. But my husband did not tell the person not to come. In fact, he told me the story years later. She had gone to meet him. We've been friends since NYC, and she went to meet him and said, did he know who he was going to marry? Because we were all working in the same bank. I met my husband in the bank. I left the bank for him. So, she told him that. My husband said at that point that he had just made up his mind that I know this girl, I know Ajike, she's not like this. And I'm going to go. And he never told me. He told me years later when he realized that I was just putting a matter on my head. I was always very serious about it because I'm that die-hard friend. So it was just like, this girl, this is what she did. She almost didn't let me make me marry you. But I just felt I had gotten to that point where I know you, I love you, and I had made up my mind to marry you. If it was at the beginning of the relationship, I might have walked away.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So just to
I know he didn't come to tell me you can't be friends with her. He didn't come to tell me that you can't, because he knew his wife. Like what Youre is saying. He knew his wife. He knew he wanted my. So he felt, no, Ajike cannot be influenced like this. Or maybe even if whatever she's saying might have been true, that's what the Ajike I
It's in the past. That's it. It's in the past now. Whoever the person is today,
I have friends, just like now, I keep telling people that I'm a Christian. I go to Winners. I have friends that are Muslims that cover their head. Because I schooled in Mina, if it's only me, if I go into their bedroom, that's when they can remove the veil. But they are my friends. We talk. They know my husband. When they come, my husband will move. He will find somewhere to go and lock himself because they don't. You understand? There's a way you should not let. You should allow your wife or your significant others to have friends.
Okay.
It's a form of care, self-care, to have friends, and you're right.
Yeah. Okay. Just before, Funsho, you wanted to respond to Ajike just before we come to Youre.
No, actually, to Youre, like I wanted to say that if you remember what I said in the opening, I gave experience and reasons why I would make that kind of suggestion to my wife to be. At the end of the day, I also said that everything still depends on her. I would say my own part why I think that lady shouldn't come, because I think she's a bad influence and you should choose like maybe make other friends and like that. But it still depends on her whether she wants the person to come to the wedding or not. It's not like I'm going to impose it on her.
No.
For like our wedding, actually something like that really happened. There's a friend of mine that I really didn't like. I don't like the lady. Not that she's done anything to me, but I just feel the way she reacts to things that has to do with my wife doesn't show true friendship. To me, that's for me. But to her, she likes the girl and they are good friends. So why would I tell her not to come? No.
So I wasn't, sorry, Fincher. I can see how you would have felt a little bit attacked there. I wasn't even addressing the point about the, who your wife could or couldn't invite to the wedding. I was talking about the girl that you said you dated before you got married, and how the friend was this, and how you told the girl, in your own words, you told her she couldn't be friends with that person because that person had a lifestyle that you didn't particularly agree with. That's the point. That's what I was addressing. As a grown woman, I should be able to pick my friends. As a grown woman in a relationship with the man should know my character enough to know that, I could either do whatever the hell my friend's doing, or no, actually, no matter, even if you put her in the midst of 100 people doing that same thing, she would not budge. So that's what I was talking about. So
the problem was that she told me exactly the same thing.
What, your girlfriend, your ex?
Yeah, she told me exactly the same thing. She was 20 at a point.
Good on her.
2 years later, she fell for the peer pressure. I told you about it before now. She fell for the
choice.
Guy.
That's our choice. That was our choice at that time. So that was our choice at the time. So the point I'm making is, if at the time you guys were together and she made that choice to say, look, you know what, to hell with what you said, I'm actually going to start doing whatever the hell this girl is doing. You had the choice to walk away from that relationship. The thing is, I'm tired of men. I'm tired of men thinking that it's okay for them to dictate to other people's children, women who have come into themselves, full-grown adults. I'm tired of men thinking it's okay to actually tell them what to do and what not to do. I've had a guy asking me out. So if you remember the time when I was on that fitness journey where I really lost weight and I was building a lot of muscles.
And you almost killed us that time.
I had someone tell me, the person was an ex, asking me, trying to see if he could, I didn't want to walk the road, but he was trying to see if it was a road he could walk again. And the person was saying to me, gosh, I don't know why you have muscles. I like it when you have flesh. Like, dude, if I was going to the gym, then you're going to the gym. I had to say, look, dude, don't ever call me again to tell me I can't go to the gym. It's my body. I'm a woman. I will do what I want to do. And don't tell me I can't have friends.
Okay.
Let people do what they want to do.
Youre, let me come to you before we move on.
There isn't much to say other than to laugh. You can say I'm just drinking my tea here. But they say the thing about it, friendship are very important, especially to us women. And sometimes also, they always say, your husband should be your best friend. But there's sometimes you need that core support of friends that you can rely on, that you can speak to about things that your husband may not necessarily understand. And that's how women are. We're very unpredictable. 1 minute we might be smiling over a cup of tea and we're crying over an apple. So that's why we need people that think the way we think. So I don't see how someone that I've chosen as my best friend to come and be my chief bridesmaid. This thing, you just don't pick them as, okay, I'm just picking the next drop apple to come. It's someone that is really close to you. So for me to have picked that person as my best friend and chief bridesmaid means I'll have a very good relationship with that person. So if my supposed other half has a problem, we should be resolving it before to the point where you're telling me she can't come to the wedding. So I should have known that you guys have an issue. And for the sake of me, both of you, the husband to be and the chief bridesmaid, should be sorting out your issue, because you guys are going to be part of my life for a while. So I can't see how someone would tell me my best friend can't come to the wedding. Although some best friends are enemy of progress, but that's not here.
This thing is actually very popular in Nigeria.
Is it?
Because I know that, I follow a lot of mommy pages on Instagram. In fact, my Instagram is Nigeria Stay at Home Mom. So she knows the kind of pages I follow. You hear pages saying, oh, did your friends change after marriage? Did you still keep the same friends after marriage? And I'm like, please, what's going on here? But I began to understand that a lot of them began to leave behind friends that were not married. I realized that it became a thing. In fact, it is a thing. I think I'm about the only person. In fact, one of my friends had to tell me, she's 42, she's not married. She was like, Ajike, you are the only friend that did not leave me behind. That's the way she put it.
Wow.
That's the way she put it. Because I still visit them, we still see, we still try and catch up. I don't make it. In fact, when I was pregnant, you know, there's someone that when they're pregnant, oh, I'm gonna faint. I'm very smelly. I wanna die. Oh, ooh. When I see my friends like this, I'll just hold myself and say, it's not a big deal. Even when I get to my way to die, because I will vomit and smell, but you know, I won't just make them feel left out. There's a way you have to make, you know, carry them along. Don't let them feel that life has left them behind. Nigerians were fond of. In fact, when I married, my mother asked me if I was going to change my SIM card. I said, why? I'm not married. I said, I'm married. So what did I do? Did I kill somebody? I said, no.
I think it's the society that assumes that once you're a married person, ideally you should hang around association of married people.
Married women, yeah.
And I think it goes down to culturally, if we were to go back to the olden days, you know, when a maiden gets married, she gets moved into the association of married women and they sort of groom you, da, 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 da. But the thing is that, look, a single person can give the best advice.
Celia can testify to that.
A single person.
I don't know what you're on about.
Can give you the best advice because one, they know you, they know the situation, and they can be very objective and say, look, this is what they so I don't understand why. Okay, like a lot of people like say, oh, once you get married, you just surround yourself with
married people,
the same people, like-minded people. But hello, I'm not even the same kind of person that thinks the same way. So the way I think in my marriage will probably rub another person off in a wrong way. Look at that instance when someone said they can't send their husband to get stuff for them. That's an issue.
Yeah, and you know what? Just adding to that, you're right there, because in this day and age where a lot of married women are cheating, right? So if you really surround yourself with married people and that's what they do, you might end up saying that, okay, you wanted your wife to surround herself with married women, and this association of married women are all cheating. There was a video we did a while ago about London-based Nigerian women who cheat. We know these people, they're all married, right? And they have a base in Thamesmead, somewhere here in London, right? In Southeast London. They have a base there, and they have a room that they've rented in this property that they all go to. Yes, they all have the keys to it. And okay, it's my turn this week to go there with my side guy. They'll go. So those are all married women, but they cheat. And it doesn't necessarily mean that now that you're married, you have to separate yourself from unmarried people. Now, let me just, there was a point Youre made earlier. Now, you said something about, obviously, the man can't tell the woman, you know, who to associate with and all that, which is great. But then there's an issue. What about an issue where the man has a friend? Because this happened to someone I was friends with. The man had a friend where every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the friend will come to the house. Oh yeah, make we they go, right? The friend will come and take the man out of the house. They'll come back at stupid o'clock. From Friday night to early Saturday morning, the man will come back. From Saturday night, early Sunday morning, the man will come back, right? So it got to a point where this person I was friends with had to tell her husband's friend's wife to say, please tell your husband to be leaving my husband alone. At least it's not every weekend that he needs to go out. So now, Funsho, let me come to you, right? As a woman, for example, and you find yourself in that situation, a woman that finds herself in that situation, is it okay for her to tell her husband not to associate with that man, because the man, with that friend of his, because he's always coming to take her out? And they're not going to church, they are going to clubs, they're getting drunk, they're drinking and driving, okay? And my husband, unfortunately, was a victim of one of these occasions where they all went out together. The guy had drunk and he was drunk. And my husband was in the car and they're driving in the motorway and the car is swerving from left to right. And imagine if my husband wasn't in the car. So this is something that happened. So is it okay for the woman to then tell her husband, in that instance, I don't want you going out with that guy anymore. I don't want to see him in this house anymore because it's a bad influence on you?
So the way I look at it, firstly, you have to look at the marriage itself. What kind of marriage are they into? Are they the ones that communicate very well? Like, what kind of man is she married to that? Can I discuss it with my husband and it won't cause issues? Or is it someone that, if I just tell him, you say, okay, I accept and I take it. You get? So if my wife sees anything like this, she's most likely going to call me herself, not my friend's wife. She's going to call me and tell me, for sure, this is what is happening and I don't think I like it. And, is there any way you can change or adjust? Then I'll sit her down and we talk about it. We'll find a very, very good solution between ourselves. So I think, depending on the man that you're married to, you should be able to know how to approach this kind of thing. But I personally don't like things going outside of my marriage. So I wouldn't like you to go and tell my friend's wife or my friends to come and talk to me. We should be able to resolve it within ourselves. And
no, to talk to their husband, not to you.
But it's still going outside. It's still going out. Okay, to talk to their own husband, which will make their own husband to tell my own, to tell her own husband, and that's where the casala will burst, because it'll be like, why did you have to tell my wife, my friend's wife, this and that, But if you could just try to manage what you can handle, what you can control within your own home, fine, then it should be good. You get? And that goes back to what I was trying to say from beginning and from what Youre said. You just give example of married women in London and all those things. So I think if the person goes out, irrespective of whatever the friend does, the person really wants to do it. So you cannot do anything about it. I believe that friends do influence. You get? But at the same time,
friends do influence. They do influence, but not like now. The kind of person I am a minimalist to the core. I don't have many clothes. I don't have many things. I don't own a lot. Why? Because that is my choice. I have friends that buy bags every day. Do me a conga, babe, Chloe, these I'm looking at them. I have never been influenced. In fact, when I was in Mina, I think I mentioned this some time ago. They were taking people from Mina to London. That time, you don't need international passport. We didn't have a thumbprint and all that. It wasn't electronic. They would just make your passport. For me, passports would have international passports to come out. I had friends doing it. I had friends who smoked. Hausa girls, they smoke. They like it. But I was there. So really, it's just about character. Your this is where character comes to play. My parents didn't follow me to Mina. My younger sister went to school in New Busa, Niger State. My brother went to Ilorin. Wow. In fact, my parents left us everywhere. We went up and down. And they didn't follow us. And we were not brought up in a Christian home. We eat yam and egg on Sunday. That is what we do. It was a tradition. You go nowhere. But character, with time, just begin to know less. So when all these people that say she influenced me, no. You had the spirit, you had the seed of evil. You were just looking for the water to pour. You were just looking for something to just, something to blame. You were looking for something or someone to blame.
So you are saying that you don't believe in peer pressure. Like you don't believe that anybody can influence you.
When you are a child, I believe in peer pressure. And that is the duty of a mother. As a child, I keep telling my son, do you? Do you like it? He told me just today, that somebody said Disney Junior, you should not watch. I said, do you want, is it that you don't like it? If you don't like it, this is where you begin to understand that children can be pressured. But as an Yoruba, there's another in Yoruba that one man when they will train you, you yourself will not get to a point where you train yourself. That's where a lot of people miss it. We don't train ourselves. That's how I am. That's my nature. I am like this. I am like that. Nobody's like anyhow. We have to learn. If we can tell a child, I keep telling you, when people tell me that, okay, you are reading this, I read a lot. I read physics in school. I'm learning French. I'm doing this. I know the abacus. I know so many things. Why? I stretch myself. If I can wake up in the morning and tell my son, you must read this book, you must summarize it and submit it to me, I should be able to do the same.
Fair point.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Ajike.
When grown adults tell me that they cannot do something, I tell them that you have no moral ground to tell a child that you are wrong. We are not perfect. I'm not perfect. But we have to get to the point where we look at ourselves and know that, okay, I am messing up here. Let me correct this. How can I be sleeping with different men and I am married? These women, they know. That's why they have secret keys. If it's a good thing, they will be sleeping on the road with the men.
So, more to Ejike's point, Celia, about the question you put to Funshaw about whether or not the woman was right to actually speak to her friend or the husband's friend's wife to speak to her husband.
To stop taking her husband out.
Yeah. So first of all, that is if I was that woman that she came to, we would have a problem, because I can spin it the other way around. Well, your husband is is the chief conspirator. He's the one who's always asking for them to go out. But speaking more to Ajoke's point about people's character, your husband went once, saw that, no, I'm not about this life, and he never went back, right? Right? Is that correct, Celia?
Yes. Oh, yes.
You were saying he was in the car, so he went once, saw that, no, I'm not about this life, and he never went back. The reason that woman's husband kept going back is because, well, he's about that life.
He's about that life.
He found an out. So he found an out. Do you understand? You know me, I don't drink alcohol. When we go out, when I go out with friends, I have lots of friends who drink. But if I'm not drinking, I'm not drinking. If you put the most expensive bottle of wine in front of me, I don't drink alcohol because I don't like it. Do you understand? I'm not going to drink it, regardless of how many people is drinking in front of me. So if somebody already has something innate in them, the moment they have an out, of course, things are going to blow out of proportion. So that woman should have been having that conversation with her husband. Sorry, brother Totina, is this the thought part of you that I never, is this the thought part of you that I never knew about? What's going on here? So I think that, that's, the conversation should have been had between man and wife, because it's between them. There's no external influence there. The man just, what if it was the man always saying, come, if you come, my wife will let me go with you? What if it was his idea? What if the whole outing, the whole planning and everything, he did it? We do it as women. You understand? You want to go somewhere, you make plans with your boyfriend or your partner or your husband, but you really want to hang out with your girls. And then you say, call his line. Don't worry. Call his line and give me the phone. Do you understand? And then, or, tell him, please. Do you understand? So we know how these things work. Men do the same thing too. If I tell her I'm hanging out with you, she will let me go out. What if actually some of those nights the guy would pick him up and then they'll go their separate ways. So it has to be innate in you as a person. You have to want to do it before you do something, not because someone else is doing it. Like Ajike said, the seed was already there. Someone just sprinkled a little bit of water on it and then it sprouts up. So, that's my opinion on that. It's got nothing to do with the other person influencing.
So bringing it back to the topic, right? So your partner tells you, okay, I don't want your friend at our wedding. It's supposed to be a day where, I'm happy, you're happy. But now you're thinking, okay, let me compromise in a way, right? And then you tell your friend, because most of the reason why this guy doesn't want the girl in the wedding is because whenever you and your partner has had an argument, right? So that's where, ladies, we have to be very careful what we say, what we do, what we tell our partners when the love is in our head. So most of the times when the man and the woman have an argument, right? The girl tells her friend, oh, me and John had an argument today and blah, blah, blah. Look at what he did to me, how he treats me. And then your friend will obviously want to stick up for you, would say to you, well, do you know what? Maybe you shouldn't be in a relationship. Why don't you just leave him? It's not like he's da-da-da-da-da-da. And then when you and John have now settled, you will now go and be telling John, well, anyway, against the advice of my friend, I'm just going to still come into this relationship and hopefully you treat me better this time, blah, 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 because Ajike said I should leave you, I should break up and not marry you, right? So this is why, because every time you guys have an argument, the husband is not, the girl is not really trying to mediate or settle things, right? So now, can the friend, when you tell your friend about this, okay, well, John doesn't really want you at our wedding. Do you mind sitting this out? As a friend, can't you just say to your friend, okay, well, if John doesn't want me, that's fine. Because John is not saying, I don't want her ever in your life. He's just saying, on that day, I don't want to see her. Can't you, as a friend, just sit out the wedding?
So that friendship is over, because you, as my friend, on the most important day of your life, that in 25 years from now, we can sit back and be like, do you remember the meat finished that we were going to serve the chairman? I can't share that story with you because John is not comfortable. Then we're not friends. Yeah. So that friendship it's terminating, like right now, don't finish, because I'm not coming back. So if I come there, because really and truly, then Johnny is not the problem. You are the problem. You, my friend, you are the problem, because all I've done is supported you when I felt that that man is shit and he's not what you crying over. But you that you like punishment, well, I've been going back and be spewing nonsense. So if this guy, you guys get married, something more sinister happens, he's not going to look after you. So why am I here? What's my role as your friend? So if I can't be at the wedding, not just sitting out, that we've already chosen clothes, I've supported you all this while, I'll continue to support you outside of your marriage and outside of that friendship.
But Youre, don't you think people might also argue that, well, you know what, as a friend, sitting out one day, even if it's the most important day of your life, is not
no, hold on. That's what I'm doing as a friend, stepping away from that friendship.
Yeah, but not stepping away permanently, just for that one day.
I will step away permanently. Yeah. Because look, you're talking about her feelings alone. Now, Zobo, they run through my own blood. I mean, not be blood, they run through my own vein. Not be just water. I'm human being as well. My feelings should be considered. It's a friendship. It's not friends. It's friendship. We're in a boat going somewhere. We've been piloting this for a while. So because of your husband, which I respect, this is your happily ever after. I'm not part of it. So as your friend, I will wish you well from afar.
Interesting. You mentioned something. It's a wedding. You want everybody. He wants to be happy. What of her own happiness? You said it yourself. What of her own happiness? 1, 2. If this lady is the one that is even the cause of our problem, they say the one that is eating the leaf is on the leaf. If she's the problem, you don't feel that maybe when maybe like she said, maybe something sinister happens, she will find another friend to go and report you to. This kind of person will not keep quiet. She will report you to somebody else. She will have family members somewhere that she will report you to if that friend is not there. So if the man is still going to have people that she's going to be reporting to up and down. So that reporting case should be a case that they should even solve. I understand that when I married at first, I made a lot of mistakes. When you first marriage, nobody gives you a handbook of marriage. So you're going to make some. When I first married too, I had issues. Maybe I would tell my mom, obviously my own mom would, she will have decorum. But at times later, she would just mention something like, hey, that your husband. Now, and I realized that, it's as if, by myself, nobody sat me down. I started, correcting. It's not that maybe I was censoring all what he was saying, or maybe I had to. But I just realized that I didn't want anybody comes. When I realized that, okay, there are certain people that will tell things and they will hold it. I had to, like Youre said, I had to look for friends that were objective. I had to look for, there are some people, even in my family, like my younger sister is much more objective than my mom. So if I have that kind of issue, I know that they will record it and come and abuse me and my husband later. I will carry myself and go and meet my sister. Like, this is what is happening. Help me, what do I do? Then we'll talk. I know that that's where it ends. Nobody will hear. But if it's my mother or my grandmother, the day something will happen, they say, that your son, it is doing like his father. It's doing, when I realize that that's what I'm hearing, I quickly, you understand? And it's not coming from a place of hatred. It's coming from a place of, they love me, that's why they are worried.
Right.
They love me, that's why they are worried. So, obviously, I realized that I have to look for objective people. And those were the people I began to, so I quite understand that she may be making a newbie mistake, but that does now not mean that you should now just take it all and tell the girl to go away or whatever. So it is his wife or the fiance you should be talking to and be training her how they will manage their business.
So personally, I feel we don't have to even wait till the wedding before deciding who attends or not. If you've not been cool with the friend before time, you guys could have talked about it ahead of time and not wait till the wedding day. Because personally, I can't even imagine telling my best friend not to come to my wedding. I don't even know how to say it. I can't even say it. I can't even imagine it.
So which means if it was your wife that told you this, you would have an issue, you would have a problem with it.
Of course. And that's why I said we would have talked about it before the day. We don't have to wait till the day of the wedding to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like I said in previous episodes, I have a very close-knit friends, a few of them. So you cannot tell me not to bring one up. No, it's not possible. How many friends do I have? You are taking one away. No. So we would have talked about it before the wedding. Probably should they have met? Of course, if they have dated in the past, I understand. I don't want to see the person that has tasted my wife's cookie. I don't want to see that person. That's a different thing entirely. But that's the only reason, like I keep saying, that's the only reason I can't stand with my woman. I don't want to see the person that has touched my woman before. I don't want my woman to cheat, and I will not cheat. That kind of thing. So the same way, if that is what is making her uncomfortable, she doesn't want my friend to be at the wedding, I understand. And I'll speak to my friend as man to man. Okay, guy, I know I asked your permission before I spoke to this lady. She's mine now, and she doesn't want you at the wedding. Could you please stay out? That's understandable. Apart from that, I won't do any other thing. No, I can't even say it.
So would you, if you tell your friend that, Funsho, would you expect him to cut all ties from you, just like Youre was saying that she would do to her friend if she was told not to attend her friend's wedding?
To me, I think I have a valid reason.
Funsho, before you answer that, the scenario is that ex has smushed his wife. So I would expect
not just smush,
they've had sex.
So the thing is, I think with regards to the point, we're laying so much emphasis on the people getting married here and forgetting that, like Youre said earlier, the other people are human beings and they've got blood running through their vein. If you think you're within your rights to tell me not to do something, I'm within my rights to respond however the hell I choose. If you think you're within your rights to tell me not to come to your wedding, I'm well within my rights to cut you off for the rest of my life or for the rest of your life. And
disagreed.
Does that make sense? So I think we need to not only focus so much on the party just because you're getting married, big deal. The Saturday or the Sunday or the whatever day of the week you're getting married, it's just another day. Big deal, tough. That's your thing. Do you understand? But it doesn't change the fact that I'm human and I've got feelings. If as a friend, because that's why I'm very careful when I get involved in people's business, and I'm very careful how I let people get involved in my business. See, I can tell you, I'm very strong-headed, I'm very stubborn. However, I don't make rash decisions. I think things through. I sit down, I take my time to think about things. When my friends come to me and say, my husband did this, he did that, most of my friends are married. I know they're just looking for a sounding board. They don't need my opinion. They're not living their husbands. I'm smart enough to know that my only role there is to just go, oh, it's okay. You'll be fine. You guys will work it out. I'm not going to come to you and tell you, oh, your husband did this, then you should walk away, or your boyfriend did this, then you should walk away, because I usually don't go to people for such advice. If my partner has pissed me off and I need to talk about it, I might be coming to you to vent. I'm not leaving him all. Do you understand? That's it. Yeah. That's it. I'm coming to you to vent. I'm not coming to you because I'm telling you. No, I said the truth is, most times as adults, we know what to do. We already know what to do when we're faced with a situation. You may want to hear from someone else. When you're talking to someone else about it, your mind is already made up. You may probably just be looking for someone to convince you otherwise. You already know what the right thing is to do. So I think that's like Surya said, it's a very vital lesson. Unless someone actually specifically asks me for my opinion, when it comes to husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, I do not volunteer it. I do not, when it comes to other matters, comes to women, independence, fighting for financial independence, how to make the next money move or whatever, I will get involved. But when it comes to emotional matters, I don't let people get involved in mine. Celia can testify to that as well. I don't. Do you understand? So let's learn. Just listen, be a sounding board. Don't tell her, oh, I knew the guy was rubbish now. And then by the next day, they are under each other and they're making up.
And the thing is, all the advice that the friend is giving is not her fault, because really and truly, if your best friend comes to you and says, oh my God, my boyfriend is this, that, you're going to obviously want to take the side of your best friend, and you're not going to want her to be hurt, right? And so you're going to say, well, maybe leave him alone then. He's not. And then they will go and use you to settle and say, oh, this person said I should leave you alone anyway, or I'm still going to come back to you.
And if as a friend you don't learn that lesson the first time, you deserve to be uninvited to the wedding. If after that it happened, you gave that advice the first time, the person went back and you carried on opening your mouth because your chief advisor,
guidance counselor,
you you deserve being uninvited to the wedding. So
Okay.
that's
So, I mean, so basically what we're saying is that, first of all, it depends on the circumstances, right? If it's just maybe they don't get on because of the advice the girl has given to her friend before and blah, 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 then it's not a cogent reason for the guy. So would any of you not carry on with that wedding then? Would you say, you know what, if you don't want my friend here, I'm not getting married? Would any of you do that?
yes.
I would. We would have a big fight.
Wait. Ajike, wait. Youre, you would do that?
Yes. The reason I would do that is not because of my friend. It's the principle behind it. You thinking because this is the first big step we're taking, getting married in the relationship. You know, if it's a relationship where we don't already have children, actually deciding to commit to each other and get married is the first big decision we're both coming together to make. So if on that very first decision we're coming together to make, you're telling me who can and can't come to the wedding because you're not cool with them, then for me that's a red flag. You're almost setting the tone for what life, as you know, is going to be like being married to you. So for that reason, I will think twice and I'll most likely call up the wedding, just because of that control factor.
But what if it's the reason where your friend has had something to do with your husband to be? Then would you see that as a cogent reason?
What do you mean had something?
Maybe they've had a relationship before.
In the past, before I met him and before we got. No, that's not a good enough reason.
That's
if I wasn't,
not.
No, it's not. If at the time when I was getting with him, I knew that they'd had something to do in the past, yeah, and I still carried on with that relationship anyway, knowing fully well that they were both done with each other, why do I suddenly have a problem with it now that we're getting married? Does that make sense? And also, if it's a case of, it comes out later, just before the wedding, that they did that in the past, then if you both had poison, you'd kill me. Good riddance to the both of you. Does that make sense? Yeah, so for me, it's a control factor. You want to have the controlling shares. We've not even established the roots yet. You want to already have the controlling shares. So no.
Okay.
Bye. Yeah.
So Felicia, what do you think? Is this a situation where you would just stop the wedding if your girlfriend or your fiance says, I don't want, those are very close-knit friends, I don't want any one of them in the wedding? Would you end the wedding because of that? Would you cancel it?
Just like I said earlier, I gave the only reason why I can cancel, why I can tell my friends not to come. If anything aside from that reason, I don't see any reason why I'll tell my friends not to come. We would have to find a way around it because, like I said, we would have been talking about this long before the wedding day. So we would have been able to find a middle ground before the day. We don't have to leave it till the day before the wedding or some few months or weeks before the wedding. But like I said, if say my wife to be and my best friend have had something in the past, to me, it's a deal breaker. Then another thing is that, what if they are still having feelings for themselves and I don't know. I just don't want.
Yeah, but not inviting the person to your wedding is not going to change those feelings, Funshaw.
No.
They still have feelings for each other. What's that one they're going to do? Do you understand? It's not going to do anything. They could still go behind your back. They may have been sneaking behind your back.
Yeah, you have a point.
It's a tough one. Ajike, what would you do? Would you cancel the wedding if your husband doesn't want a friend there?
So, in fact, for me, Youre has said everything I wanted to say. She has just, for me, I just stand with her. Everything she said, because for me, it's a principle. It's still the same thing, an adage calls that is what you won't take as a rich man. You start denying when you are poor. So it's setting the tone already. So we are going to have a very serious talk. Even if I'm going to agree at the end, we are going to have to trash it out. I'm going to trash it out to the point where there's nothing I can probably do about it. But really, what could that be? She will come to that wedding. I'm sorry, but well. Youre has said it. So let's not drag matters. Let's not drag this.
Okay, so Youre, would you end the wedding then?
See, this is how abuse starts. Okay. Because the thing about it is that you're telling me I can't do this. I can't do this. This is not just your wedding. It's my wedding as well. So there's no problem with your guest list, but there's a problem with my guest list coming to our wedding. So if I give in, so that means tomorrow my younger brother or my younger sister cannot come and spend the weekend because it's not convenient for you. Or if I get given, that means my child cannot go to the school because ex's child goes to that school and you're not comfortable. You see where we are setting ourselves up for failure.
Yep.
That means we're going to be having problem. And you know me, as headstrong I am, I push back, then that means there's going to be a problem. Start abusing each other, because trust me, you will not just be beating me, I'll be beating him. So you see where the issue is. So I'm serious. That means the marriage is all set up for failure there.
Yeah.
So it's something worrying. I know don't let me say everybody wants to get married. Marriage is important to some people, but it does not define you. And I keep saying this, it does not define you. It's just that you have to make sure that you're in a committed relationship with someone that sings the same song from the same hymn sheet as you. So if you don't, it's a recipe for disaster. So why are we getting married? If I cannot, as your spouse, comfort that, look, change your thinking, that, or let's say even convince you that my friend ain't that bad, you should be able to trust me. Okay, well, Youre, with her pink head and not thinking, she wants this lady, but you know what, let her be there. Let her even show Youre the kind of bad friend. Give me that benefit of doubt, and let me bring that my stupid friend to the wedding.
Yeah, and I think it's not even benefit of that. It's according to the respect that you deserve as a
No. Let's just Youre, let's just say, for argument's sake, benefit of that. Okay, you know what? Have your way. Let that friend show you. But you telling me outright that my friend can't come to the wedding? Why? Maka, why? As far as I know, the bride's family is sponsoring the wedding. Why are you to tell me I can't bring it?
You can't bring it. Anyway, on that note, I think it depends, as everyone in the panel has already said, it depends on the circumstances, right? It depends on the circumstances. So hopefully, Youre, now you're the only one here that's not married. So hopefully you won't find, I don't think you will find yourself in that position.
I think,
you would marry the same person on the same level, right?
We've had this conversation many times and you always say shut up, or sometimes you see the reasons why. I don't really care about being married.
Okay, well, on that note, we're going to end it.
Yeah,
okay?
So yes,
okay,
I wouldn't bend over backwards for something I don't really care about. Does that make sense?
I know.
That's it. So yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well, on that
Don't
note,
worry, Celia, they won't disinvite you to the wedding.
them feet, they're not feet now. Sure, I bet I say na Mars that won't do the wedding. Anyway, on that note, or maybe now Zoom wedding because of this coronavirus. But anyway, on that note, we're gonna end it. It's been great trashing this topic, because I think the lesson from this is women, we should know what to do, what to say to people. Sometimes there are situations that you're going through in your relationship or in your marriage, and you just really want to tell somebody, but just hold on a bit, because you don't know who you're telling. You don't know what they really feel for you. They might be happy you're in that relationship, or they might not. Okay, and something Ajike said earlier as well, don't go and tell your family, when something happens between you and your husband or your boyfriend or your partner, don't tell your family, because except maybe the man is battering you and beating you up, then yes, you need support. But when it's just an argument, be very careful what you tell your family, because when you guys settle and you forgive your husband, your family would still keep it in mind and they will use it again later against your husband. So
Celia, I know you're trying to round up. I'm just going to chip this quickly. One thing my mom said to me was like, look, I'm not saying there's an issue with your husband, you shouldn't tell me. But the thing about it is that if you tell me, you're my daughter. So I'll be nursing something inside, and you people would have finished. And me, I'll still be nursing. And the more you tell me, I'll be like, look at this boy messing my child up. So find someone that you feel comfortable to share with, that will support you emotionally, because sometimes in marriage you need it. Marriage is not a walk in the park. I'm enjoying mine, but 13 years, but hey.
And the thing is, pastors are not always the best people to tell. Let me just put it out there. In some cases they are, but in other cases they're not, because it depends on what you're going through, and they would just, I don't know. But anyway, that one is another story for another topic, right? Anyway, on that note, we're going to end it. Thank you, Youre, for being on trashing this topic. Thank you, Ajike, Youre, and Funshaw, all the way from Prague. So thank you so much, guys, for being on this, and we will see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.